Hey friend, I'm Rina. I help people break free from alcohol and live with more joy, peace, and purpose. If you're ready for real change, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. So, we just finished dry January, and I'm hearing lots of people say, I feel like I'm failing. I hear these words from people on this journey almost every single day. Maybe you've gone a few days without drinking and then you've fallen back into old patterns. Maybe you got through like the whole month, but on day 31, you thought, I deserve a reward, or maybe I can moderate now. And suddenly you're back where you started, feeling even more discouraged than before. Maybe you're looking at other people in this space and thinking, why does it seem so easy for them? You see people celebrating their 30, 60, or 90 days alcohol free, and you feel like you're stuck and you start thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I make this work? Why do I keep failing? Sounds familiar? If so, you're definitely not alone. What's actually happening is really quite normal. Here's the thing about the comparison trap. When we see people posting their milestones on social media, we're seeing the highlights. We're not seeing the full story. We don't see the messy middle. We don't see the doubts and the setbacks, the mornings of regret that they experienced before they had success. We don't see that context. And so it's easy to start feeling like you're the only one struggling. We've been taught that success is measured by how many alcohol-free days we can rack up, but that just doesn't align with how change actually happens. The fact is that real change just isn't linear. It's not like you start to decide I want to quit, and then it's, oh, I'm never drinking again. And it's just progress, progress, progress from there. Real change is actually messy. It's like up and down and backwards and then up again and then backwards. But every setback, every learning, every single moment of awareness is progress and is actually moving you forward toward your goal. The problem is that we don't often see or celebrate those small steps. The fact is that even if you just attempted dry January, that you're here listening to this video, you are building your awareness. You are making small steps of change. I like to think of change like a moving walkway. You know, those travelators that people step on into the airports? Sometimes they're called people movers. The moment you decide to change your relationship with alcohol, it's like stepping onto this moving walkway. And even if it feels like you're standing still or you take a step backwards, you're still actually moving forward because now you're constantly getting more and more awareness about this pattern and habit in your life. And here's the thing, you can never unsee or unlearn what you've already learned. When I quit drinking, I had read This Naked Mind by Annie Grace, and something just clicked. The desire to drink just completely lifted. It was like a total shift in my mindset. But what people didn't see were the years leading up to that moment. So people might look at that moment in my journey and be like, oh, wow, spontaneous sobriety. But there was 2 years before that moment where I was actively trying to quit completely. And before that, about 5 years of trying to moderate, knowing like something had to change. So it wasn't a straight line. It was like a long, kind of messy progress of trying, falling back into old patterns, trying again, feeling like I couldn't get it right until something finally shifted. And so a lot of this journey comes down to pure just perseverance, simply not giving up until you get to where you want to go. The other thing is that it was grace that led me to this naked mind at the exact moment I was truly ready. Before that, I'd spent 2 years learning the hard way. Doesn't have to be that hard, by the way. And just learning that alcohol wasn't serving me anymore, actually still drinking, not even enjoying it, but still drinking. But it wasn't until that moment that I was ready to change that it started to really happen. So I guess I want to pose you this question. Are you truly ready to change? Often when we try and push change before we're truly ready, it can feel really difficult. So when I'm listening to some of my clients, I'm attentively listening for a few key beliefs that signal that they're really ready. And those beliefs are the belief that you can change. And often through this journey, when there's lots of ups and downs and starts and stops and lots of day ones, we can start to lose hope that we think we even can change. So if that's you, start to notice that. And I would recommend just leaning into podcasts, books, stories of people you admire telling their story. And when you hear yourself and other people's stories, let it reignite this belief that if they can do it, so can I. The next belief that I listen for is that timing and urgency. So that's the belief that it must change and it must change now. Maybe you have unintentionally been having a someday mindset. Someday it'll be easier to change because I'll have a less stressful job, or my finances will be in order, or my marriage will improve, or my kids will be older. So it can be easy to unintentionally keep kicking the can down the road. And we all know how quickly a year, 2 years, or even 5 years can fly by. So if you don't feel that urgency yet, that's okay. It just means that there's something deeper to explore there. The third belief is that the change is really up to you. So you can sign up to every program, read every book, attend every talk, but at the end of the day, you have to show up for yourself in those difficult moments. No one else can do that for you. But never fear, the right community, the right coach can really arm you with the mindset, the knowledge, and the tools to make that possible. The fourth belief is believing that you're doing this for you. So if you're trying to quit because of someone else's expectations, it usually doesn't stick. This has to be first and foremost your decision. And I would say the final belief is really when the awareness has grown to the point where the cost of drinking no longer adds up to the perceived benefits of drinking. That momentary relaxation or numbing or buzz that we feel just no longer becomes worth it because we have just grown in so much awareness of what it's actually taking from us. If dry January didn't go how you hoped, it doesn't mean you're the problem. It just means that you're using a system that isn't right for you where you are right now. And that means it's time to maybe DSD, do something different. Maybe try a different goal, like taking the time to better understand alcohol's role in your life. Take a pause when you feel an urge coming up and ask yourself, what do I actually want alcohol to do for me right now? And then stay curious whether it is actually accomplishing that role for you. Remember, this journey isn't about willpower, it's about awareness. When we see something new, our desire starts to shift automatically. So remember, the only way you fail is by stopping trying. Every single attempt, every setback, every day one is teaching you something and bringing you closer to your goal. You're not failing. You're on your way.